What's up, Juventus? Welcome back to the AJC, your channel dedicated to Juventus and our beloved Juventus back in Champions League. And the first match is today, and here to tackle it all, we got Mr. Skanga and Omer. Fellas, how you doing today on game day? Feeling good?
Oh, all good. Headbanging to the new intro.
Oh,
That's
yeah, that
fun.
new intro is perfect for match days. Gets me just
hmm
fired up. Just fired up.
Do do we have like everybody hurts for after game days when we lose?
REM is going, that's going back a ways, man. I don't know. I don't know. But no,
Okay.
I don't think we're going to be hurting. I don't think we're going to be hurting. I think we're going to be feeling
Oh,
just good.
no,
Skanga, how you
just
feel
in
about this
case.
one today? Feeling good?
My friends, it's been 685 days since we've played in Champions League.
Only
Yeah.
And I think
pro
us three
sporting
jabronis were
campaigns.
sitting here when we did the last game. So 685 days, and we're back. It's a great day. It is a fantastic day.
And it's about
Yeah.
time we got back in
God.
there, and now it's time to fuck shit up in this. Okay, and first up,
Family show.
well, family swears too. PSV, first up on deck. You guys see the title there for the thumbnail and whatnot. Going rogue. We've got some interesting calls on the lineup. I've seen like 3 or 4 different possible scenarios that he could be going with. We're going to give ours. I gave mine out on a YouTube short. We're going to tackle all that leading into this game. There's some, the finances, Calcio Finanzas actually put out the numbers behind this new Champions League and what Juve could see. So we'll talk about that as well, because obviously that's all going to be very important as we continue to clean things up and get things ready. But I am absolutely jacked for this game. Unfortunately, for everyone that has been asking through the YouTube videos and everything, there is no watch along today. Unable to make it happen, all right? But I'll be back for the Napoli game. And you guys know how big that Napoli game is going to be. We did our Playback TV call-in show last night, and we had Dom, the Napoli fan, on there, and Lou joined us as well as Seb. It got pretty fired up in there, so I look forward to that game. And then the Playback TV show follow-up should be good as well. And Adam, who's with us in the live chat, joined as well, and a couple other members. So it's very, very good. I have to apologize to some members who weren't able to get on for the call-in, but I'm trying to clear it with Playback TV because there was 3 gentlemen that said they sent requests. I did not receive them. So I'm working on that with Playback TV. But today, we're here and we're ready to rock for this game. So let's get into it, okay? First off, in terms of the news, it's very quiet other than potential lineup scenarios for Juve. It's actually very, very quiet. But we did see Giorgio Chiellini going to the first meeting as part of the head of institutional football relations for the club. Very, very cool. Him and Calvo getting there. Calvo, I think you should sort out the sponsorship. A little bit of a...
Please?
Can we... Guys, what are we doing
What?
here?
Oh, come on. Anybody.
How do we
Let's
not
go.
have a sponsor
What is
now
it on
pulling in
sponsor?
some money?
I don't know. I hope it's worth it. By the end, when the name is finally announced,
It won't
that's
be.
that's what I'm looking for. Not
Like,
Ita Airways or whatever it was.
Calvo, you got one thing to do this summer. Come on, man.
Smokes. Calvo. Smokes.
Let's
2.
go. Let's go. What are we doing here? Okay.
Mhm.
But that's really it in terms of news. Everything is speculation on what Thiago Motta's going to do. So we're not going to waste any time. And we're going to get into the actual matchup ahead of us with this return to Champions League, okay? And it's going to be PSV that we'll start off with. And I know Skang is going to get in on this one, okay? But they're starting off 5 perfect wins in their league, 17 goal differential. We will talk a bit about what they play. As far as what they're going to have available to them, they are without the services of Noah Lang, Karsdorp, Serginho Dest, and Obispo. Herving Lozano is also a major doubt for this fixture. But again, some of these guys could be day-to-day, so you don't really know 100%. Luke de Jong did give them a major boost coming back, and he made his return, and in their last outing even found the back of the net. It's going to be, I think it's going to be an open game. I think it's going to actually make Juve look better, but we'll get to that. The probable 11 for PSV is going to be Benitez, Ledesma, which is going to be an interesting matchup with Kenan Yildiz. If Yildiz gets the start, because that's one of the rumors, okay? Then you got Flamingo, Boscali, Dams, Till, Schouten, Veerman, Bakayoko, De Jong, and Tillman. Okay, that's what we should be expected to see for PSV. When you get to Juve, we are pretty much healthy outside of Milik and Conceição. But we are hearing that Kalulu could potentially be the one starting at the back, Cambiasso on the opposite side. We were also hearing Danilo could potentially get a spot in this lineup. We were hearing that Yildiz could be benched for Gonzalez to move to the left side and Weah to play on the right side. In the midfield, we were hearing Thuram was the one heading towards that starting shirt, and then it picked up a lot of steam to the point where it's looking like McKennie is going to be in the lineup. So, right now, as it sits, Di Gregorio, Cambiasso, Bremer, Gatti, Kalulu. So Kalulu actually right side, Cambiasso left. McKennie, Locatelli, Colt Miners ahead of him, and then Gonzalez, Yildiz, and Vlahovic. Now, some say this is showing up as 4-2-3-1, but it could be a 4-1-4-1 if you got McKennie in there to play as an advanced disruptor to break up PSV's game. We got to get into this. I gave my lineup. What do you think about that projected lineup and playing McKennie in there in this one? Let's start with Omer.
I honestly don't know what to think. I'm sure Motta has some reason for it. Maybe it's the way PSV are playing and he wants someone who doesn't stop running back and forth. Maybe I'm just, trying to find some reason to it. Beyond that, no, I don't like it. To be honest, I don't think it will happen. My money is on Thuram starting. The rest, I know Kalulu was fine. Actually, kind of a head scratch what you do in defense. Because I like Cabal, I like Cambiasso on the right. Kalulu was great defensively, which might be useful because of the way Eindhoven are playing. I saw that the four guys up top will be Yildiz, Gonzalez, Coop Miners, and Vlahovic. So, yeah, a lot of head scratchers today.
Yeah. Skanga, would you play McKennie?
Okay, I was thinking about this morning over my coffee. Do you play McKennie? I knew you were going to ask that question. Does Motta go with experience over talent? Right? But Coop Miners has experience in Europa League, so that's a wash. He has to start. Douglas Luiz has not played in Champions League or has minimal amount of games in Champions League, I believe. I don't think he has very much.
I can't remember the numbers for him, but the only ones that were low, I think, were like Gonzalez. Colt Miners has 5 games in Champions League. There's quite a few guys that are lacking experience in it. Yildiz, if he starts, this will be his first crack in Champions League. Cabal, if he starts, will be his first crack. Like, that's why they're saying, a guy like Kalulu will have experience in there. Danilo will have experience in there. McKennie will have experience in there. But I don't know if you still, for the better of the overall group, include some of these names. Like the last time we saw McKennie, it was bad. Really bad.
Yeah, I don't see McKennie starting. Again, Motta could, surprise us all and put him in the starting lineup. But for a game like this, we have too much talent to replace talent with experience.
Huh.
And I can't see Motta replacing experienced players over players that are more talented. So I would lean towards, I hope he starts the more talented players. I think, these guys are all professionals. They should be able to handle it. It's going to be a sold-out stadium, I guess was reported this morning, which is great.
So Luiz has 0 in terms of the reports that are put out there. The most capped
I still don't
players.
think that matters.
I just want to. The most capped are Danilo with 62, McKennie 24, Kalulu 16. Those are the most capped players. Conceição, who's out, has 15. And then Thuram has 2 and Colt Miners has 5.
I don't think it's an experience versus not experience issue. I think it's tactical.
Yes.
He wants McKennie to do something very specific, and that's why he plays him. That's the only way I see it. I don't think it's experience.
And that's why I could see Kalulu start in the back, because you rest Gatti to play against Lukaku on the weekend.
Oh, Gatti's playing this game.
You wouldn't rest Gatti.
Gatti's playing this game.
You think he's starting? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Kalulu's not playing at center back. No. Gatti and Bremer are 100% locks.
Okay.
That would be a shock. I'd be shocked if he actually... I think those guys are a go. I think they're a go today, and I think they're a go against Napoli. Gatti and Bremer.
I'm just happy we have so many options on fullback. Like, it was so exactly the same thing in the past few seasons.
I think after the Napoli game is where you'll see... I think that's where you'll see a break for the CB role, because I believe after that... Where are we at after that one? It's going to be Napoli, and then you'll have Genoa. And in Genoa, I would expect a... even though it's away from home, I still expect a center back change for that one. I think they'll go through these with Gatti, Bremer, and then I think once you hit Genoa, you might see a Kalulu play there, potentially even a Danilo. And I would do that
next week.
And I would actually do that, because Danilo coming into this one, I don't like that based on how things have gone before, even with McKennie. I'm not saying that we don't need to ever rotate or think about rotate. Obviously, we're going to have to rotate, but based on how he played the last game, if you were even thinking about entertaining McKennie for this game, he should have popped in for a bit last game and got some actual game time minutes and tried to not go into this one on the back of such a horrific showing his last time out in actual game. I get that training, he might look different, things might be going well, but it's completely different from the games. So I would have played him rather than Fagioli last game out if you were going to try to do something. And if today the game plan is go 4-1-4-1 and have McKennie and Colt Miners both advanced of Locatelli, he still should have made his appearance last game and still gone to that 4-1-4-1, which we were playing with Colt Miners and Luiz, and see what he can do. But if it's going to be strictly for trying to restrict PSV, Thuram can restrict arguably better than anyone on the team in the middle of the park.
I have a theory. What I believe is, and this is just a theory, I haven't been there. With the reports of McKennie, I'm thinking that McKennie and Thuram were splitting time in training at whatever spot they were doing. Thuram's going to get the start, but if he has that nagging injury and he has to come out early, McKennie has to be ready to go in. That's just a theory of mine. I think maybe these reports are just coming out because they saw McKennie playing in whatever certain position in training. But there's no way he should be starting over Thuram. I think Thuram gets a start, but as a precaution, they want to get McKennie going.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird one. I'm gonna pull up what I would do for lineup. I want to get your guys' thoughts, because even in the attack, there's question marks. Because Yildiz, they were talking about benching him. He's become a hot topic around fans as far as not playing around the left side and actually playing him as the 10. So this is one of the things. We're going to pull up the graphic and go through it here. Let's get rid of that. Holy smokes. I don't want to see that again.
Wasn't that the gimme? That was a gimme, wasn't it?
Oh, my God. I talked about that so much. Okay, so here's my lineup. This is what I would do. Cambiasso, I like him on the right. I would play Cabal in this, despite Champions League experience. Bremer, Gatti, that's a lock. Locatelli, Thuram, Colt Miners there. I would still play Yildiz on the left, and I would actually play Weah on the right. I think Weah's been great. I think this is going to be an open game, and I think he could actually exploit. And to be honest, of the guys that have played out on the right side up until this point, on paper, Weah is not ahead of Conceição and Gonzalez. But you have to go with form. He's been the most effective so far on the right side. And
I think he's the healthiest of the three.
I would do it. Thuram and Weah have already been training with the group for over a week now. I'm fine with them going in there, but I would do this. I would do this. And we see some concerns here. And Haneem's got a great point. Thuram, maybe he doesn't have 90 minutes.
He doesn't.
He doesn't have to play the entire game.
Agreed.
No, maybe it's a combination of a few things. Maybe Motta is also staying true to his promise that whoever performs well in training and gives it his all will get the starting shirt. Maybe that's what McKennie did. We know he can do it because he convinced Allegri last season to not let him go and keep him in the team.
True.
Is there any changes you would make to this one?
No, I'm ready to go. I don't mind Gonzalez. I think he needs to kick it off as quickly as possible, and the more games, the faster it will happen, in my opinion. But Wea has been solid. Like, I have no issues if he's starting. Definitely to the type of game we're expecting today.
Yeah.
The only question mark on this one is Thuram. That's it. Based on fitness, and that's it. Other than that, Koop Meyers, again, he hasn't played very much, but overall, over the first 4 games. But arguably, he's our best midfielder. So,
do you guys have any concerns with Yildiz as a left winger?
No, because the first 3 games were fine when he was out there. 2-3 games, it was fine. Like, what? It's just chemistry. For me, it's just chemistry.
I really, really think the numerical disadvantage created based on how Empoli played us is having people second guess our players way too much. I stand firm. That's a game plan issue. I said today against PSV, this is going to be an open game. You're going to see, you're going to get a totally different feeling from Juventus and its players because it's going to look completely different. Fluidity should be there in this game. Even whether they try to control more or we try to, it'll be more open. PSV will not play a parquet game. They just won't. If you needed evidence, their coach pretty much told you straight up because he took a jab at Allegri, calling him out, Allegri catching strays for no reason, saying, I like Motta. I like the way Motta plays. He's like the Dutch, as opposed to Allegri, who just parks in front of goal. So Allegri's catching strays here from Hiddink, but Hiddink better check himself because I don't think he's got the accolades to go after a guy like Allegri. But nonetheless, that pretty much
tells... Maybe he's a Juve fan. No complaining like we do.
Pretty much that tells me exactly everything we're going to get in this game, and I think it's going to be wide open, and we'll be happy with Juve. I got to say what's up to Anthony. Thank you for the super chat donation. Appreciate it. Ciao, ragazzi. I've got you guys beating PSV 2-1, all right? And we are going to get to predictions and everything. And, of course, Storm the Barn. Don't ever hesitate to get your Storm the Barn questions in. But the Yildiz thing, I'm not concerned about it. But I will say this, guys. I do at one point want to see him at the 10 with even Colt Miners occupying the midfield a little bit further back, which he can do. Like, I'm
definitely
fine.
Get it. Somewhere along the season, we will get it. And I also think Yildiz is kind of affected by who plays behind him. Because Cambiasso always drifts to the center, which kind of leaves him alone. And when Cabal played, he was more hugging the sidelines and providing more of assistance down the flank rather than going centrally. And that affects Yildiz play a lot. Because he basically had to beat his man every time to get across or anything. And when Cabal plays, he has that option. So maybe if Cambiasso today is on the right, you'll see a different Yildiz.
Yeah.
I see a comment here. If you want to bring the formation back up, because I don't know how it would change. AM puts here Thuram and Coop double pivot, put Yildiz at the 10, and then who?
I would, and that's exactly what I'm thinking, and I'd like to see it, but I don't know if I would do it today. Today, I would personally like a guy like Thuram in there disrupting as your disruptor. Locatelli's been playing. Locatelli's been playing really good, really good. His last game was really strong. I'd let him keep building. Colt Miners up there. It's going to be open. I don't think we're going to have a problem getting to that final third that we need, that we should avoid having Locatelli and Thuram out there and maybe another offensive midfielder. And if the name is McKennie and Colt Miners ahead of Locatelli, I don't see anything drastically changing from this, except I think Thuram is the big key in being a disruptor against PSV, who's going to try to play their game. And whether it's going to translate from the Dutch league to against us in Champions League, we'll wait and see. But I've watched enough of the extended highlights to see there's a lot of space there. A lot of space there. I think they're going to struggle finding that against us today. And oddly enough, you're going to have two coaches that kind of share quite a few philosophies in terms of getting the ball higher up the pitch in order to create. PSV believes in that and tries to do that as well themselves. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Yep. They're going to go 4-3-3 today is what's reported, but could very much end up being a 4-2-3-1, just like us. Whether you want to go 4-1-4-1, they're just different variations of essentially the same. And they share a lot of the same philosophies. It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a really fun watch, you guys. As far as what the main storyline is, Juve's backbone, the defense. 5 times in history, having 4 straight clean sheets to start the game. Today, I say this is their first major test. Do you agree?
Mainly mentality-wise.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's still a bit stressful. It's a bit exciting, especially for the young players. Like the numbers you put out of number of caps, like after Danilo was 60-something, which I guess most of them are for Juve. And there's a big drop-off. Like Champions League experience is kind of non-existent, which can get to players. It's still a different type of atmosphere. But it is at home, like, I don't know, I'm expecting a great game. I want them to get into the rhythm of the Champions League and understand that it's a different type of game from what they do in Italy. Yeah. Maybe those players who came from different leagues will be more suited to that type of game. But either way, it will be super interesting.
Would you guys have rather this be a away game?
No.
I want to start at home.
At home, in front of our fans. PSV, I think, I actually think it's perfect because, again, having watched some of the games they've gone through, I mean, they pumped a team and everybody's kind of looking at that score line. Well, that team got a red in the 8th minute and the defense looked anything but something you would find in Italy. Okay. It's going to be completely different. I actually like this game for us. I like that we're starting off at home in front of the fans, sold out. I think it's going to be rocking, and Juve's going to be hungry. I think they're going to be hungry after what went down with Roma and Empoli, and the fact that it's not going to be a clamp down game. Some believe PSV will come in and follow the blueprint of what we've struggled with. There is no chance I see PSV playing that way. They're going to try to implement their game. We're going to implement ours. And the only way you stop that is by clamping down and make it a clunky game. That is not the Dutch way. That's not the Dutch way.
The only teams that really do that, and I mean no disrespect to this, but the only teams that do that are like just because I watch a lot of it sometimes, Celtic, they're like a lower level team. When they get in the Champions League, they're going to shell up. Sort of like lower level teams will completely change their philosophy from their domestic league to Champions League. I'm sorry for any Celtic fans out there. There's a jersey on the wall, please. But teams like that, PSV, they're not going to do that.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, there's also like parking the bus is something you have to work on as a team. You defend as a unit, and not all teams work on that. Mainly, attack-oriented teams. They don't usually work on that, to the level of being able to just switch it off in the middle of a match. And we saw that a few years ago when Real Madrid eliminated like City, Paris, Chelsea, everyone, because they got those late goals and suddenly those teams had to like defend, and it was awkward. They created a lot of spaces. The covering wasn't fine. Like, it's something you have to work on. It's not just placing everyone inside the area and it will work out. And I don't think PSV, at least from what I've seen, they haven't worked on that.
And this is why, from my expectations of what I expect PSV to do, I think this comment from Akira is probably spot on. The tempo this will be a different tempo than we've seen in the first 4 matches. Like, I expect a completely different tempo, and that speed and the quicker things. So it's like, it's great that we've got the defense solid and clamped down. But now all of a sudden, your reactions, the cohesion, everything's going to have to be quicker. And the communication is going to be faster. And everything's just going to be ramped up because we all expect them to play their style of game, which is going to be a fast-paced game. Now, for us, if it becomes a battle of possession, then yeah, if we fight for that possession, if we can control that possession to the tune of 55 to 60%, that helps with that tempo as well and controlling that. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And maybe that's why Motta is looking at going rogue in some people's eyes with the lineup. But to be honest, it's a blessing, and it can also be a problem when you have too many options, because it makes you think way more than maybe you should. Could Motta maybe fall victim to overthinking the lineups with all these options? Maybe. I think any coach would.
Well, he's never coached the Champions League.
Right? Yeah, but he's still trying to work it out, the best combinations. We don't know what our best starting 11 is. I don't think he does too. And we'll figure it out along the way. But what you said is correct. That's why they're working on attacking patterns and stuff, just so they can do it kind of blindly, and they know who's running where and where to pass the ball, rather than stopping and thinking and looking who's available all the time.
I think it's the same thing we talked about during the Mercato. There's a reason we get frustrated as fans that deals aren't done as quick as they should be, as we believe they should be, because of exactly this. It's going to take time for him to realize his best 11 versus what he expects. One of the things that I loved about Motta before we got him was that when he was with Bologna, he would actually change not just players, but setup based on what he expected from that team, except he grew to understanding perfectly well with that group of players that never changed. He had them through training. He had them the whole way through. Who could fill the exact roles he needed from game to game. I think that's where the patience is going to come into, is he's still going to have to sort out, when I want to accomplish this, I need this group. When I want to do this, I need this group. He's still not there yet. He's still trying to get a few questions answered.
Here's an interesting question for you, because I'm asking it, because it's always interesting. When do you when does that excuse not work anymore for you personally? Should he have it figured out by Christmas? Should it be 8 weeks into the season? Should he know?
End of October for me.
End of October.
So going into early November, if at that time you don't know who you need to accomplish what, I think that would be a concern. And I honestly don't think we'll get there. I don't think we'll get there. I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Right.
With how much I see out of Motta's game already implemented that we could see coming through.
Yep.
Our midfield's good. The defense is on lockdown. The only thing, and I've been telling everybody this because I'm like, this is not anything new. People are trying to make this something new. The media is trying to cook up Motta and expecting Pep Guardiola, and like that Caressa guy's an absolute twit, okay? That's number one. But it literally took 2 teams to put everybody and their coaching staff in front of the goal to slow us down. Number one, the main accomplishment there that Omer nailed on the head was that now that fear factor is back. We want the teams to do that. The last piece of the puzzle is for Motta to realize how to break that down while not remaining safe. He only had to see that low block with Bologna like a few times last year. Every time, draw, 2 losses. 1-3-0 to Udinese, and they had 24% possession. He has to figure that out. My thing with him is I don't see how you break that down without sending numbers. You're not going to do it with one guy in the area. So the
Maybe
good news for
that's
us.
the reason McKennie is here.
Well, the
'Cause
good
he's
news
the
is
one
that
that's
today
getting
it's
to
not
the
going to be a
area.
park bus. So today you can go with your
Hopefully.
best, and I think you'll be just fine, right? Today
Yeah.
I'm expecting a different Juve. You'll see a good Juve. And Vlahovic, who's come under fire, I expect a good, strong game from Vlahovic.
Can we get him some service, please?
Yes.
Listen, when he deserves criticism, I will give it to him. I promise you. But he got zero service last week. Like, what are we even talking about?
He has his shortcomings.
He does.
We can't beat around the bush here. But for me, it's like he needs to work on his consistency 100% because the fundamentals have to be strong. They have to be strong consistently. However, if you're going to have inconsistency with his individual performances just in the fundamentals, and on top of that, you have a game plan where he is easily swarmed by multiple defenders, you've got a recipe for disaster. And I think that's what we saw against Empoli, and that's why it was magnified. Tonight, though, Vlahovic will have a strong game. I'm going to put my neck on the line here. Tomorrow, you can all roast me if you want. Today, you will see a strong, in an open game, you will see a strong Vlahovic. For the Dutch team, that's another thing we just talked about, sending numbers. We will have opportunities to hurt them because they like to get three guys into the area when they get that ball deep on the flanks. Look for that. If we can flip that, win those balls back, and try to hit on counters, Yildiz, whoever plays up top, Gonzalez, that's why I would use Weah, because I think his pace is going to be massive in this game. There will be openings for us to hurt them. Even if we win the ball higher up, or even if we win it back deep, because they send numbers and bodies forward. They have the benefit of doing that in the Dutch league without that much fear so far in their first 5 games based on their opponents. No disrespect.
I'm going to disrespect it. Have you seen who their opponents are? Can I tell you who their opponents are? I have it right here.
Fire away.
They've played 5 games. I didn't know about the red card because I don't have time to go into complete detail of their games because that's a complete waste of time. So there's 18 teams in their league. Something new I learned. They've played the 8th place, the 10th, the 16th, 17th, and 18th place teams in their league. That's as much research I did on this team.
But it's also early in the season. Like, if you win your first place, you lose your last place. It's still too early. Napoli were like at the bottom at the beginning, and now they're top of the league. And they are used to playing against that style of play. I mean, that's the Dutch way. They play against teams who try to exploit space and play higher up, like we're at least intending to play. So yeah, it's an interesting encounter either way you look at it, but I'm sure we're going to have like a fluid side-to-side game, high tempo, and I'm here for it.
Luke de Jong's going to be a handful. Bremer, I think, will pocket. I have faith in Bremer on any top big man.
Yeah, and he's not playing against defenders who are Bremer caliber in the Dutch league.
Yeah, Bakayoko could be a handful.
His name is familiar. Why do I know that name?
Bakayoko?
Yeah.
He was listed during the Mercato as a potential future option for Giuntoli and Juventus.
Bingo. That was it. The other one is Lozano. Is that the same guy who played with Napoli?
Yeah.
Same one.
Yeah, quick little shifty Mexican forward, but
it's not the same Bakayoko who played for Milan and Chelsea. That's a different Bakayoko.
Yeah, okay. different Bakayoko. Now, guys, it's we've been over the lineups. Obviously, when we get about an hour out from the game, we are gonna see what Motta decides to do. He's got a lot of options this early on. He's got some figuring out to do. Whoever goes out there, though, hopefully get the job done, okay? Now, we're going to talk about Champions League before we get into the actual predictions and then, of course, storm the barn. But the finances behind this tournament. So, Juve could receive a total of 49.3 million euros in this tournament. So, qualifying from out of the first stage sees them receive 18.6 million euros. Juve could receive 275,000 euros for placement ranking bonus. And then you have Juve receiving 21.14 million euros on the European portion, and then 9.27 million on the non-European portion. And those portions are from TV rankings and ratings and etc. that they get from those sponsorships and those deals. Those are all broken up and divided. And what that plays into is your European official rank based on the number that you get, and it spans over the last 5 years. So obviously, Skanga, what was it, 680 something days since our last
685.
685 last time we were in Champions League. So obviously we're going to have a couple seasons affected there. But again, there you go. Those are the numbers behind it. It's going to go a long way. It's going to help. We'd like to advance there. I can't help but feel, and we got to talk about this too, is the league. I asked Lou this yesterday on Playback. Inter and how they treated the Monza match, some believe they're going to have their focus kind of one last hurrah. They can only, deny the inevitable for so long before they have to attack their finances and what's going on there, okay? We won't say anything about the fact questions haven't been asked.
Moving on.
But is this their last kind of full push and go for European accolades? And are they opening the door for other clubs in the league? And do you see Juve as maybe placing priority domestically and just kind of seeing what happens in Champions League this tournament, and maybe saying a base objective to just get out of the first stage? What do you guys think?
You go first. I got something to add up here.
Yeah, I think Juve will focus mainly on the league first, but like Champions League is kind of depends on the situation. If they see things are going well and they have progress from the top 8, then suddenly it becomes a lot more interesting and a lot more viable. So depending how it goes, if we maybe barely make it into the next stage, or we have that elimination game before, then things might change. But I do think Juve should definitely focus on the league first.
Yeah.
Establish that dominance.
Yeah. Ant, what do you think?
Okay, I was just doing some quick math here. So just to rehash it, how the Champions League works in case nobody knows. So the top 8 get a bye. So there's 36 teams. Top 8 get a bye to the round of 16. 9 to 24 go to the knockout phase. So I guess the round of 32. And then 25 to 36 get relegated. Oops, sorry. To be in the top 8, I'm thinking those teams are going to win probably 7 of 10 games. 21 points will get you in the top 8. 21 to 30 points get you in the top 8.
There's 8 games, I think. 24 total points.
So 24. So I'm still thinking 6 wins. I'm still thinking 18 points will get in there. I think if we get 12 points, if we get 12 points, we'll be in that middle group. Just be in the middle group.
When we had our predictions, I pegged Juve for probably about 14 to 16 points, and I said that's going to be around the edge of top 8. Maybe you squeak in. Maybe.
So my point is, to agree with you, is that get into that 12, 14 point. Just get into the middle group. Just get to the knockout phases.
But that's 2 more games.
What's that?
But that's 2 more games. If you finish between 9 and 24th place, so that's another elimination.
The early calculations show that if you get 16 points, you're actually going to make it in to, and I'm not talking about that middle. Like, Juve's not going to fall out and get demo. They're not going to be outside of a playoff to go into the first group. I think they're going to be really close to squeaking into that bye into the round of 16. I think we'll end up being really, really close. But it's going to be it's going to be difficult.
My point through all of this is that I think they can make a great push for the Serie A, and I agree that Inter, their rebuild is coming, right? Ours is happening right now. Even though ours is happening right now, Juve did such a good job this summer that we can make a push for that middle group, probably the top 8. I'm not expecting the top 8. I'm thinking somewhere between 9 and 12 I'd be happy with, while still going full guns for the Serie A.
Yeah. I think domestically we're all kind of in agreement. You got to rip for that. You got to rip for that, and I think the door's open. Unfortunately, RB, no, I will not be able to do the watch along. There was like 90% shot that was looking good, but unfortunately unable to. All right, but I'll be back for the Napoli one. I'll be with you guys all in spirit though, watching from my desktop at work there. And Champions League, yeah, I've been known to shout some things from the tower in the back that, sometimes customers are kind of curious as to what's going on back there. I say, don't worry about it.
Is he okay back there?
Don't worry about it. Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
He's fine.
Yeah. We always swear aggressively at a little telephone on watching a game back there. Now, predictions. Guys,
yes, sir.
Ready? First, the official. Let's hear about this Spanish ref there, Skanga.
I'm just going to bring up some really quick information here for him. So Alejandro Hernandez, who is 41 years old, he's no spring chicken, all right? He's been around. Even though Omer
41's not bad. Easy.
Omer completely bashed Spanish.
I just told Anne that I was hurt when I started being older than players, but I didn't imagine being older than referees. So
imagine being older than everybody. That's
Yeah.
All right. So he's done 228 La Liga games. He's been around. All right. So that's averaging about 6 yellow cards per game, 74 reds in 228 games. Not bad. 73 penalties. Now, here's the kicker. He's done 9 Champions League games. I'm not going to click on what games he did. Averaging about 4 yellows per game, 2 reds in 9 games, and 4 PKs.
So you're telling me there's a chance. All right.
All right.
So his name is Hernandez. That's the guy. It's the same guy.
Is this the same guy? Well, okay.
Yeah. His middle name is Hernandez and his family name is Hernandez.
Why would you do that to a kid?
The old lady set to make their 24th appearance in the competition, 3 more than AC Milan. It's time for the AJC prediction challenge, everybody. Okay? Champions League day is here. We're back hosting PSV. Final score, 2 tiebreakers. Skanga, you're up first.
Oh, I am ready to go. So I am going to go final score 4-1 Juventus.
What?
I'm taking that at plus 3,100. Yes. I think we're going balls to the walls today. I think it's going to be full guns, 4-1 win. I think what you were saying earlier, we're going to see that team that we've been waiting to see. I think it's going to happen today. I'm so excited for today. I am so excited. It's like a third
4-1?
Yeah, 4-1. I'm going I've combined both Dusan and Coop to score, so that's plus 682. I've also parlayed this other bet. It's an interesting little bet I parlayed here. So it's a Juve win plus most corners in both halves plus most shots on target in each half for plus 1,000.
Man, look at these. Wow. Everyone is just 3-1,
I am ready to go.
4-0.
I think
so most corners each half. And sorry, what was I'm just blown away by it. Okay, so most corners each half and what?
Most shots on target each half.
Okay. Wow. Look at all these predictions.
Are you guys crazy?
Unreal. I love it.
Buckle up.
I don't know what's in those coffees, those espressos today, fellas, but I love it. I absolutely love it. And I hope you're all right. We got Sev coming in here, 2-1. Juve. Dels is going 0-0, a work in progress. Okay. Cautious there. Doesn't want to get too hyped up. Just wants to play it at ease. Okay. Black Mamba, 2-0 at most. Dragons 8 coming in, 2-1 Juve. Paulo here with the 2-1 squeaker win if we're lucky. Late winner. Matt's coming in here with an Allegrian 1-0. Just to counter any prediction curses. Okay. Omer, you're next, my friend.
Yes, so 6-4 Juve. No, come on, Ant got me in the mood. I don't know, I'm going with a 2-1, Dusan and Coop to score, and McKennie with the first yellow.
Okay. McKennie, yellow. Okay. Guys, holy smokes. I don't know. There's so much hype in here. And Sev is asking if that soundbite was you. Yes, my friend, that was you when the raccoons scared you out on your driveway there. That's your soundbite. Love it.
He's
Love
getting
it.
raccoons in the bomb
Oh,
shelter?
yeah.
Oh, no.
Sev's got the new nickname of Scoot Scoot now because raccoons. So here we go. My prediction. God,
Do
you
it.
guys are
Just do it. You can feel it. Just do it. Why are you being afraid? I know you want to do it. Just do it. I can see it in your eyes. Don't listen to these jabronis in the chat with the zeros. Just do it.
Does the defense hold up and not allow one? That's my battle.
No, we're giving up one.
I don't think so.
I think we're going to give up one goal.
I think we give up the first goal. I think we go down 1-0.
2-1 Juve at half, 3-1 total. 3-1 Juventus wins.
Okay.
I'm going 3-1. Last night, you guys amped me up for one more goal because I think last night I was feeling like a 2-1 or something, but I'm going 3-1 Juve. And I'm going to put Vlahovic on the score sheet. The man scores today, okay? Vlahovic is on there. And I'm going to say that Juve concedes only by PK. So we concede by PK. Spanish referee
Now,
will give up a PK.
Without this counting, foul or handball?
It's going to be a foul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Duly noted.
So Alex P says they're going to hold. I hope so. I hope so. The issue is if we can score.
Nuts.
Again, without them clamping down, which I don't believe they will, I think we'll score. I think we will score. I think we're going to be okay. But Alex P still saying 1 or 2-0 Juve. I like that. Eric's
So
coming in here.
couple
1-1 at
bets.
the half. First half jitters for Juve. 2-1 Juve second half. Look, hey, we're all still confident that they get the job done. They win. I think it's going to be a much, much better looking Juventus. I'm stoked on it. Guys, reminder, get the likes up here, all right? Happy to have you all here getting fired up for this game. The game itself is only about 3 hours and 10 minutes away. So absolutely jacked, and it's time for Storm the Barn, and I expect some Storm the Barns to be around Champions League as we are stoked to be back in it. And we kick things off with Forza best Champions League memory except winning, because I was going to say, literally, I think our main posted best Champions League goal for Juventus and obviously showed that Mandzukic cracker in the final. Yeah. We unfortunately didn't win. That was arguably one of the best Champions League goals, period. The ball didn't touch the ground for how many touches? It was insane.
4.
Like 4. Bonucci to Sandro to Higuain.
The
to
distance the ball traveled without hitting the ground was insane. Bonucci, long ball, trapped down. Was it Sandro? Yeah. Sandro to Higuain to Mandzukic and in the back. Unreal. But I said winning it, my favorite Champions League goal, straight up, was just ended up being a PK from Jugovic that won it in 96 because winning it was massive. But what's your favorite memory aside from winning it, Skanga?
So I got 3.
Nice.
So there's the Del Piero goal against Real Madrid from distance. There's the Nedved goal. I believe that was also against Real Madrid.
That was Madrid in Turin.
Right. The other one, surprisingly, that always seems to pop in my head was the Dybala goal against Tottenham to go up 2-1, where Higuain passed him the ball, but he's at half with his hands on his hips, like on his knees, watching the whole play. And then when Dybala puts it in, he falls to his knees with his hands in the air. That goal still gives me goosebumps to this day. I don't know why, but that 2-1 win over those jabronis in Tottenham. I think that's and then after that game, I think that's where Chiellini said that's Tottenham's, that's in their DNA where they just suck.
Yeah. It's the history of the Tottenham. Yeah.
There you go.
Omer.
Yeah. Those 3 stick out for me.
Those are all epic.
Yeah, it's hard to choose one. I'll go with 3 too. So the first one is obviously because I posted it on our main, is the Mandzukic one. I know how it turned out, but at that moment, I was elated. That was
Yep.
absolutely phenomenal. And I was super happy. The 3-0 win against Barca was actually insane. And I'm going to go with another one. There was a 3-0 win against Chelsea under Conte, which actually knocked them out. They were the Champions League holders from last season, and it was the first time the Champions League holders got eliminated from the group stage, and it was because of Juve, although eventually they won the Europa League. But yeah, that was a game of dominance. I mean, just take some time and watch the way Juve played that match. Watch some extended highlights. That was insane. There's like 10 to 12 very good chances and sequences of passing that got all the way to goal with a 3-5-2 only in the first half. That game was insane. Agnelli was up there in the bleachers celebrating every goal. Those were the great times. Like you knew you were getting just better and better every season.
Yeah.
Do you think
And,
how far do you think we are from that again? Feeling that.
We are kind of, because it took a while to get there.
Yep.
I think we have like 2 more seasons till we feel confident in facing a Champions League winners and actually have a chance.
Yeah, if things go right, like I mean, it's tough to pinpoint a time because we still don't know. Like right now, based on just 4 matches, it looks like we only got one hurdle to get over, right? Mm-hmm. And that's when they want to clamp down. If that's all we have to do, it could be a hell of a lot sooner. But if more things kind of rise over a couple months in the season, then it's like, okay, you just keep looking at it and you keep building and working on it. So it's tough to really say, but if all things go our way, man, hopefully next year you'd feel confident against top teams. If guys hit, if these players are delivering, if they all gel together. Otherwise, you just keep working. But Champions League moments for me, well, obviously that one, the Madrid game that Anth was talking about, that was back in Turin in 2003. Del Piero also scored a ridiculous goal there, dummying some of the best defenders at the time and then going short side on Casillas. Del Piero absolutely owned Casillas. I think every time they faced each other. The celebrations, man, those... I get goosebumps still watching Del Piero slide, the knee slide after that goal. The Nedved one where he literally kept running in stride after he hit that long ball from Zambrotta on the volley. Hits it on the volley, scores, and keeps running out underneath the curva and just goes on his knees there, arms out. Like, those are iconic. It will never leave my mind. That game will always stand out to me. It was insane. Something more recent, I think the Champions League nights through the 15-16 season were like the Man City slide, all of that. Like, it's just epic, man. But the Tottenham one was unreal for Dybala, Higuain, and then also Chiellini and Buffon celebrating on the back end when they clamped down and shut things down. Unreal. So there's a lot of beautiful, beautiful Champions League moments. But back in the day, taking out Madrid, oh yeah, in 03 in Turin, unreal. Now, pick one player from PSV you would want in our squad. I'm going to go with Bakayoko would be mine.
Oh my God, I have no idea.
Just say Bakayoko.
Sure, Bakayoko, yes. Yeah, perfect.
De Jong, some might say. Omer.
No one special. Like, yeah, let's go with Bakayoko. I wouldn't take Dest. I wouldn't take Ledesma. Maybe Veerman.
Maybe.
I think it's actually a decent midfielder.
Can you sing the Champions League together? No,
I don't know all the languages.
But is it not the Napoli fans that believe? Tell me about this. Come on, tell. I love how Ant just loses it every time he sees this. I can't. Oh man, come on.
These jabronis had the gall, the nerve to put on Twitter. They had the nerve to put on Twitter that it was the Napoli fans. Like at the end of the Champions League song, they say the champions. Like they kind of sing that part of it. the Napoli fans said, "Yeah, we were the ones who came up with that. That the champions sing it." And it
Of course they do.
was the most. I've been around a long time. I've seen and heard some ridiculous things. That is one of the most ridiculous things I have ever heard or read in my life.
You know
The
what?
nerve to say that you came up with that. Like,
More
please,
ridiculous
God,
than Vanilla Ice claiming he didn't rip off Queen.
But the
you want to know
consistency is
something? Leave
amazing.
Vanilla Ice out of this.
The consistency is amazing. Ridiculousness that they have and come up with it's amazing. The consistency. If
It is
football
consistent.
wasn't such a horror,
Oh, shit.
That's a good start.
How
Let's see where it goes.
oh George, this is just gold. If football wasn't such a horror, how many Champions League y'all think we should have? Okay, if we're gonna
9.
go through this, honestly, I'm
4.
shocked at the 3 consecutive that we didn't get all 3 in Lippy's time there. I'm honestly shocked. Like that should have been at least 2 out of 3 there.
Mhm.
The Milan final, I totally believe if Nedved's there, that's a different game. Completely different game. And might have been the edge based on how Nedved was around that period of time.
And Dida was off his line on every penalty shot.
We should be... and then, like, if we're talking about the recent ones, I think... give me that PK. Give me that PK.
Barcelona.
I think we should be 4 or 5 realistically, guys. 4 or 5.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds about right.
4 or 5. We should realistically be if it wasn't such a whore. All right. Now. I love that. Love that.
That's getting clipped. I'm sorry. That's getting clipped.
That's getting clipped. What do we got here? 57th minute mark. Getting clipped.
Yep.
Okay. Who stands out as our Champions League leader on the field as of right now? Omer?
If Danilo is out, then it has to be Kalulu, right? Like in terms of experience. No, what does it mean? I can't wrap my head around the question. Like, what do you mean?
Who stands out as
who's
our
gonna-
Champions League leader on the field right now? I think it remains as who's our main leader just in general, and it'll translate onto Champions League, Coppa Italia, Serie A.
Yeah.
Is it, in fact, Gatti as the main leader just without the armband? Is he?
This seems like it right now. So
He's
far this
playing
season,
like
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Alex
Like-
P is incorrect. I will not say Dusan.
Him and
Dusan is not a leader.
Locatelli too. I would give it to him as well.
I think,
Okay.
yeah, I think Gatti's miles away from last year. It's crazy. It's actually crazy right now. Hopefully, it continues. Bremer is still a leader. He's still a force and a beast. We're leading from the back. But ahead of that, I haven't seen anyone really take the reins away from those guys at the back as of yet. So I still stand firm. The back line is our leaders, those two.
Yeah. Okay. So that's sort of where I was going. Vlahovic isn't a team leader here. He's a leader by putting the ball in the back of the fucking net. That's where he has to lead. He has to do his job and put the ball in the back of the net. The person I think eventually we go as he goes is Coop Miners. This team is going to go. I agree with everything at the back, but as a whole, I want Locatelli to be that guy. I just don't think he is. I think he's just kind of a quiet leader like Bremer is. I think Gatti is, the big personality. He's a leader, but this team's going to go as Coop Miner goes, which makes him the leader for me. If he goes, we go.
That's a fair shout, and I mean we paid the money that we're gonna need him to be that guy up front there to help. So yeah, it's good. It's a good shout. It's a good shout. But if we're answering the question for right now, hopefully
Gatti.
Cope can be that guy. Hopefully
Yeah,
Cope
but
can
right
be
now
that
it's
guy.
Gatti.
But right now, it's the back. It's the back. Adam, make the best Juve 11 you can, but you can only use one player from a country.
I gotta
Okay,
hit
so
the
I
Google
wrote. I
machine.
already wrote down mine when I saw the question. So I have.
Oh,
one
well,
ready.
that's cheating. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I gotta prepare it. Okay, so goalkeeper can't go Italian because then you can't have Del Piero. So the only one who's not is Van der Sar, which eliminates Davids, unfortunately. But Van der Sar, Lichtsteiner, Tudor, Montero, Asamoah, Zidane, Nedved, Vidal, Del Piero, Boniek, and Tevez.
Huh. I would have tossed Szczesny in as keeper, Polak, to keep the Italian going
I don't know.
elsewhere.
He relates to a lot of bad memories for me, bad seasons. Like
You
Van
son
der
of a
Sar.
bitch! Could you leave him alone? Like you can't
Van
give him
der Sar
more
was
Alpha-
absolutely brutal for Juve.
Yeah, he was. But
Like
time has
Van
passed
der
and I
Sar,
forgot
man?
all
Oh
about
my
it.
He
god.
was a sieve.
Yeah, he was awful. Oh, I forgot about
You rinsed
Ronaldo.
salad with
No,
Van der Sar.
because it was the trickle down effect. You
Save-
know what?
save.
Let's take Boniek out because Tech cancels Boniek. So let's go with Tech, Boniek out, and Ronaldo in.
Okay. Okay. We'll let that go. We'll let that go.
I agree
Like-
with his lineup. Now,
Is it possible?
well done, Omer. That was quite impressive.
Is it
That would have
possible
taken
we
me
go
the whole morning.
undefeated this round? Just wins and draws. This in Champions League? I mean,
No.
anything's possible, but do I think
Yes.
it will? No. I think
No.
there's too much work to be done. We talked about all this in the build-up. Finding the best combination for what Motta wants to achieve given a certain opponent is going to take time. I don't see it. We're gonna have to be patient with him figuring that out and sorting that out. And also the
8
players
games.
gelling.
Yeah, 8 games. I'll be happy with 4 wins. 4 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses.
And I think we'll be around 4 or 5. I think we'll be around 4 or 5. You know? And that's honestly a good spot for us.
Okay, hang on, Adam. Zlatan was not that good for Juventus.
He was up and coming though, man. Like he was good.
No,
He was
his
good.
first
But as an
season-
all-timer for Juve, and I know you're from Sweden, man. I get it.
Oh, is he? Okay,
Yes.
so I'll double down on my answer. He was shit for Juventus.
Oi.
He was a
Rocking the
mercenary.
Sweden top today, and you're just
I
gonna
don't
do
care.
them dirty like
Oh
that.
yeah,
Stan.
yeah. So I'm showing some respect. He did nothing for us, and he was a mercenary. I'm glad he left.
Easy,
Oh, yeah.
easy.
But he is a great follow. Other than that, on Twitter and all that stuff, the guy's hilarious.
Dude,
Oh, he
Zlatan's
actually has. He's the first episode of Hot Ones. If anyone's watching Hot Ones on YouTube, where they eat spicy wings.
The funny thing is
And-
that Adam's being a bit biased and he admits it, and then Skanga's being completely emotional, I think, about what happened way back in the day. So the two of you both need to just check your emotions here, okay? Let's keep moving.
Listen. I'll give you one Sweden story that I have. I
Okay.
do have one Sweden story. 1994 World Cup. I went and saw Russia, Sweden, and Brazil, Sweden. I saw 2 Sweden games in Detroit. Those Swedish fans were something else, man. When it was Brazil, Sweden, it was 90,000 people in the what's that dome called? I can't remember. Pontiac Silverdome. It was 90,000 fans. I think there was like 10,000 Swedish fans, and they stuck them all up in like the top corner. While the Brazilian fans were loud, but those fans were partying for 90 minutes before and after and during. Great fans.
Nice.
Zlatan
Nice.
still stinks though.
Man, you were talking about the ref. You brought up the Spanish ref's age and everything, and you were telling a
41
story
years
about it.
old.
Man, it just brought me back to one guy we have in this league. He's hilarious, okay? So he's a very, very old gentleman. I don't know why he still refs our football matches because it's still...
Does he stay in the center circle?
It's still competitive. Man, he is so old, okay? This guy is so old. He used to play professionally in Russia, okay?
Of
But
course.
hilarious. This guy walks around the pitch and, like, if you complain or whatever, I don't think he could see anything. He stops and he starts talking to you. The play's
Yes.
going on. Other guys are getting blown up. You start to look like a war zone around the field. And then he's like, oh, get up, guys. And he just keeps going around. It's hilarious, man. You got to see the old guys ref. And I know that there's a lot of leagues out there that have these washed up ex-players that ref. Holy Christ.
Every league
Funniest
has
thing
that.
ever. Soviet Russia, I was professional.
Mother
Now,
Russia. Yep.
do you think that today Vlahovic will be awarded the man of the match? If not, who?
God, I hope so.
I hope so, but my way too early man of the match for this one and how I think the game is going to play out, I'm actually going to say that it'll be either one of our CBs or Cope Miners.
I think it has to be like one of our midfielders because breaking up counterattacks will be massive. And if they can do that, they'll get the man of the match. Or defender. I don't see like Dushan, like you said, I wish because he has to either score or assist to get the man of the match. So yeah, that works out, but I don't think it will be that way.
P-Bugs. P-Bugs has it. We sort of know what we have in Di Gregorio, but we don't. The guy hasn't had to do anything. So
Keep
we
it that
don't
way.
We don't want him to be the man of the match. We'd like to make a couple saves, good, but if he's the man of the match,
the longer we go, he's not tested. I'm cool, man.
Sweet tattoos, by the way. I don't have any tattoos, but his are pretty awesome. He has
All the Marvel. He's got the whole Marvel arm, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like it. So we'll see. Yeah, man of the match. We got Weston being thrown out there by Alex P. We got Locatelli. We got Thuram. We got Di Gregorio. I'm thinking it's going to be Cope Miners or one of Bremer or Gatti. But I'm going to give it to Cope. And Cope, do you think we'll channel Allegri when we play Man City, or do you see Motta trying to go toe-to-toe? I absolutely do not see us going toe-to-toe. Motta is defense first. He was with Bologna. Anybody that thinks otherwise needs to look at that again and all the examples he's given us. He will not go toe-to-toe. He's going to find a way to try to hurt them offensively, but he is definitely, I don't think it's going to be a full-on park it, but it's definitely going to be defense first. Omer? Scanga?
Yeah, he has a different way of defending. It's not the same way that Allegri defended. But still, Man City are a far better team, far better trained. And they've been working for I don't know how long with the same manager. Yeah, I think we'll be defensive for like 70% of that game. But it's still like it's in December, right?
Yeah.
It's the second last game, I think, of the Champions League.
No, it's 2 to last, I believe.
It's the third. It's like the
It's near the end then.
Near the end. Sixth game.
So a lot can change going into your earlier question of when we're going to see the blueprint of Motta and the kind of starting 11. We'll have a better answer closer to that date. Now, as it looks right now, Man City are a better team and they will win.
It's going to take time for him to develop that. And again,
Holland is monstrous.
The fact that it's in December, again, by then he should know what guys he wants to accomplish certain objectives against certain teams. That would be one, if you're going to try to get success against Man City, you're going to want to take that game away from their middle. You're going to want to flood the middle of the park. He's going to have to change, but he is not a stranger to flat three midfields in trying to do that. But the problem is not that it's a problem. He didn't have to do that against Bologna. He played a straight flat three in the middle like less than 5 times last year, if I'm not mistaken. So again, you just have to see, but you've got to take the game away from the middle of the park for City if you're going to succeed against them. So it'd be interesting to see what his ideas are at that point in time. So how far do you think the Italian teams will progress in the Champions League this season?
Couldn't give a shit how other teams do.
The projections for Atalanta are so high on those like little drafts that they just run up. Like they've got them like just behind Inter up there, but
because they have a good draw. They got nice team. Even when they play like Arsenal now, Arsenal has tons of injuries, and Atalanta are a bit more familiar with that style of play. Yeah, they have been known to cause troubles to big teams in
Yeah.
Europe too. I know they might go a long way depending on draws and stuff, but still, I think
Oh,
they're
good for them.
qualifying.
I still I think like Atalanta, Juve, Inter, they'll be in Atalanta. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make round of 16. I'll be completely honest. I know they got a good draw and everything, but maybe round of 16 and then bounced. Maybe that. Inter depends on draws outside of that and everything, but I'll expect them in the 16s as well. And then from there, who knows? Who
Milan?
knows? Huh?
Milan?
Let's see who replaces Fonseca.
Mm.
And we can
Did they fire
gauge.
him, or they will be firing him?
I believe it'll happen.
No, they have like Liverpool today and then Inter on the weekend. And
I
they
don't
just
think
got
it's
their
going to be too good for them.
I actually
So-
one of one of my friends is at the game today at San Siro.
Oh, really? Nice.
He's actually a Liverpool fan, but his girlfriend is from Turin, and she's a Juve fan, and her brother's a Juve fan. So he's just going to the match.
Ah. Liverpool fan, eh? Ah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, and you're gonna hate him even more because he's now a Torino fan.
Okay.
What?
Well, and he's a friend of yours.
Yeah, he likes the underdog always. And
He would be.
but
He'd be getting ejected from my friend's orbit, like that.
Yeah, what's...
Don't need that kind of person in my life.
oh, my best friend is an Inter fan, so yeah, Liverpool
What
is not
the
that
fuck,
bad, eh?
Omer? Omer, you're
Who are
killing me.
you choosing as friends?
Because I didn't grow up in the 2010s. I grew up in the 90s, where it didn't really matter. We actually had fun watching matches together and giving each other shit.
Yeah, fair enough. I grew up with a bunch of England supporters, so fair enough.
I got a cousin who's an Inter fan. I barely talked to the guy. Is
Yeah.
it ridiculous to say Dusan always turns up in big games? He almost scores every time the game is extremely important. It's not ridiculous to say. I mean, he does tend to score in the bigger ones. We took a look at the end of last season, his goals. They were important goals. We might have had a lot of struggles, frustrations throughout that season, but he does turn up. He does turn up in not all of them. Not all of them. But he does turn up and he does score important goals. I would say the majority of his goals last season were important.
Let's put it this way: we need him to turn up. We have nobody else. I see people here talking about Keane. Oh, look at what Keane's doing. Keane stinks. We, by some fucking miracle, we got $13 million for that guy. By a miracle. I'm sorry, I know this is a family show. I understand people are frustrated with Vlahovic, but we all need to keep things positive. We need this guy to start firing because we have nobody else.
I love the Keane tap in against Atalanta to the empty goal and the gritty immediately after kind of sums things up for me with him. He's, you know what? Do what you got to do at Fiorentina. Guys, there's a reason the rear view mirror is smaller than the windshield. Look forward. Remember what Keane did with us, and it's far separated from the youngster that came in around 2018 that was scoring goals on his cameos. It was long removed. It's time to move on. Okay? We move on.
And I
don't
know
worry
what,
about
I don't know
Moise
what
Keane.
Alex P's talking about.
worry
Dusan
about
scored
Moise
in
Keane.
Derby last year. So he scored in the
Motta
first match.
always comes up with a surprise in his starting lineup. I did not like the starting lineup of our last two games, and we had to make it right in the second half. What's your opinion? I'll be quite honest, because I said it on both post-match pods. Personnel wasn't an issue for me. The bigger issue was the ideas, and like you didn't change anything tactically from first half to second half. That's a bigger problem for me. Not the lineups. We still got to figure out these guys. These guys haven't played together a whole bunch. He had injuries already to deal with as well. I'm not looking too much on the personnel, but the last two games, you're not going to beat a low block with leaving your three forwards up front, and every time they get the ball, it's a double team, sometimes a triple team. I don't care who you're playing against. It really doesn't matter. There's a major numerical disadvantage, and you did nothing to change that. Vlahovic played up top. Our number 10 was on the right sideline. Douglas Luiz was on the left sideline. There's nowhere to go. There was no spreading out of the defense. There's no help occupying defenders for Vlahovic. There's nothing. There was nothing there systematically to help us in those two games. It's not a personnel issue for me. Anything to add there, guys? Or do you feel differently? Did you not like the lineups? Should I bring up the lineups?
I think it's just too early to be nitpicking on all this. And there is a good excuse to give that, listen, he didn't have his full team until 2 days before the market ended. So we did have an international break. We are notoriously flat after international break. I don't know why that is. All teams tend to be, so that's a bit of a wash there. I really just preach patience. Can we just give him a minute to figure it out?
Perin, Kalulu, Gatti, Bremer, Cambiaso, Locatelli, Luiz, Gonzalez, Cope Miners, Yildiz, Vlahovic. I mean, what are we changing to Fagioli? Fagioli hasn't been playing well. So are you going to start Thuram immediately after just coming back? Okay, maybe. Does that change that game? Maybe picks up the tempo, because Thuram in the second half did show a little more urgency. Maybe that helps. But ultimately, the lanes that you were trying to work on, your fullbacks were hanging back. Cambiaso made it as far as the midfield. He got advanced maybe 7 times in the game. Only 2 times ended up with actually creating some havoc. His was the crossover to Cope Miners. That Cope Miners deflected back, tried to hit Gonzalez. It's too few and far between that you're actually sending enough bodies forward to cause damage. I'm looking at the lineup. In Bangula, okay, you can make that argument, but I don't know. I'm not that crazy about the lineups that we got to roast them for that in those 2 games. I'm not really there. The one against Roma was Di Gregorio, Savona, Gatti, Bremer, Cabal, Locatelli, Fagioli, Cambiaso, Yildiz, Imbangula, and Vlahovic. And to be honest, he brought Cope Miners in immediately at 46 minute, and he brought Conceição immediately at 46 minute. It's not a personnel thing. They really didn't change a whole lot. It's more so how you're trying to hurt that low block.
Just figuring it out.
Yeah.
Got to figure it out.
Got to figure it out. Motta's going to have to figure it out. Can we score a goal after 3 weeks? We're scoring today.
We're going to score buckets of goals today.
We are going to score. We're going to score. Juventus said that in the near future we will get the next Ronaldo. Who do you think Juventus was referring to? Oh my God. Why? You guys know how I always feel. I hate labeling
I'm with you, Berto.
the next Messi, the next Ronaldo. Who was that guy in the Mercado this summer? And what did they call him? The
Little Messi
Messi what?
Or something. Little Messi.
No, it was whatever country he was from, and they called him like what the hell was it? Norwegian Neymar. It was a target we had, and I'm like, you guys, just
I don't want Brazilian Neymar.
It's funny that we always go to this. Look, I think they're more just stressing the fact that, like, once the finances are right and everything, like, they still got their eyes on the big talents. And to be honest, they've been proving that through Next Gen. Next Gen's done incredible
fantastic
work. Keep it going. But the next Ronaldo, who the hell knows it's going to be? When are our finances going to be ready that we could maybe make a ploy? Because if a guy is in fact labeled the next Ronaldo, you know that there's a club that will always spend massive money on the next young talents, and it is Real Madrid. So you know, if Juve does that, it's not until we're so financially set. Okay, and then we're talking years down the road, people. Like at least 2, okay? Maybe 3. But as far as who that's going to be, I can't tell you who that's going to be if it's 2 to 3 years from now. No idea.
Doing such a good job with the next gen. The next gen
By
is
the way,
our-
Dusan played 5 matches against Inter and scored 2 goals.
There you go. Unfortunately, Opa, no watch along today, guys. No watch along today, okay? My apologies. My apologies. Cannot make it happen, but enjoy the match, all right? We're going to reconvene tomorrow morning, and hopefully we got ourselves a victory Wednesday, all right? And a great match to talk about. You got the predictions. Skanga's going 4-1. Omer's going 2-1, right? I'm going 3-1. Let's see. Let's see, everybody. All right, but you guys enjoy the match. Let's hope for a strong Juventus. I believe it will be a strong Juventus. An open game. Let's take it to PSV at home. It's a sold-out stadium. Place is going to be rocking, and hopefully the lads are rocking as well. You guys, take care. Enjoy. As always, fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Let's give PSV the big day. All right, let's go, everybody. Ciao tutti, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care.
set the tone.
Yeah.